Hi everyone, this is Eric. I'm in Leavenworth, Washington. I completed the Pacific Crest Trail southbound segment from mile 61 Rainy Pass to mile 188 Stevens Pass from June 14th to 21st. Here are the trail conditions that I found and my lessons learned. Great view from close to Stehekin. Nice evening at Howard Lake. This bear kept going up the trail towards me until he saw me and stopped. After a few seconds, he continued towards me despite me waving my poles, but finally turned off the trail. Looking up at Sitting Bull Mountain at mile 97. Micro spikes needed starting at mile 97. Quite a long snowfield at mile 97. A lot of snow on the trail. Pretty benign snowfield so far. Big snowfield to cross. The snow is almost deep enough to cover this sign. Micah Lake is beautifully frozen. Steepest snowfield to date, right before Fire Creek Pass. Fire Creek Pass. It snowed a few inches overnight. Snowing again this morning. Apple and I teamed up for the rest of this segment to tackle the snowstorm together.
Don't think they'd find us.
It became a whiteout and windy, making crossing these snowfields very difficult. For some of these snowfields, we couldn't see the other side, and so the safest way was to face it, plunge my ice axe and pull into the snowfield and traverse laterally. We finally got through the whiteout and steep snowfields, but that was the scariest we've ever hiked through. What are my lessons learned? First, regarding snow. The Stehekin Ranger had warned of about 80% snow starting at mile 96, but I think it was only approaching 50% at elevations higher than 5,500 feet and less than 5% of the entire trail. I agree with the PCT Association guideline of comparing your hiking date to when the Harts Pass snow level hits zero. This year, that snow level hit zero very early on June 2nd, so my hike through this section would not be considered very early. Nevertheless, I'm glad I had my ice axe and micro spikes for some steep snowfields I had to cross. Apple and I were unlucky to have been hit by a bad snowstorm, but ignoring that snowstorm, I think the snow conditions for miles 96 to 162 were no worse than the snow conditions from the northern terminus to Rainy Pass, i.e. the first 61 miles. Second, regarding the black bear I encountered, it was the least timid I've seen and supports the new North Cascade policy for more stringent food storage requirements. I use the Ursack, a bag made of Kevlar, to keep my food from bears. Third, I had a lot of gear failure, which I think is an indication of how rugged the snow-covered trail is in this part of the PCT. I had a lot of falls and post-holing in the transitions into and off of snowfields, and often had to hike steep, slippery off-trail slopes to reconnect with the trail after hiking long distances over snow and losing the trail. I bent a third hiking pole in this segment, and recall I bent two during my first segment. In contrast, I hiked over 1,000 miles the last 2 summers, including 2 through hikes of the John Muir Trail and 1 of the Colorado Trail, as well as shorter trips in the Sierras without ever bending a hiking pole. These black diamond micro spikes were new, and 1 broke during this segment. The internal frame from my backpack broke yesterday, and I'll fix later today, but on the other side it broke a week and a half ago, which I fixed with this red duct tape. This is much more equipment failure than in my prior 1,000 miles of hiking, and highlights the ruggedness of the snow-covered trail, the need to improvise, and the necessity of bringing duct tape. Fourth, there are many kind and generous people in this world willing to help each other. My longtime friends Mary and Caleb Wong picked up replacement equipment and brought them to me at Leavenworth. Albert picked me up and dropped me off at Rainy Pass, and we had a great time hanging out at Winthrop. I'm with Albert, Supreme Trail Angel. Albert's been a great historian, coming here every summer for how many years?
20 years.
I'm so glad Apple and I were able to team up together to get through that snowstorm. He injured his foot during that segment and will not be able to continue, but I will be forever grateful for his camaraderie.